Hello from the International Leadership Development Committee. My name is Sarah Sweeney and I'm from West Virginia, and I'm here with my co-presenter Yvonne Gatley from Wyoming. The International Leadership Development Committee developed this presentation for training purposes, but also for you to modify and share with your state and/or chapter. In the Leadership Lab, you will also find a copy of the slides for your use. We've also included notes for each slide with instructions for use. While watching this webinar, we're going to pose some questions that we'll want you to think about. So have something to take notes while you watch. The great thing about doing a recording webinar is that you can pause. So we want to encourage you to do just that. When a question is posed, pause the video and reflect before moving on. So let's get started with the challenge of leadership.
When surveyed in regards to concerns, multiple state leaders cited filling leadership positions as an issue. I'm sure many of you can relate to these exact statements. You are here today because of those challenges. We're not a social club. Unfortunately, we have heard this happening to many chapters. Their members have aged and no longer have contact with new educators. Thus, they have not inducted in a very long time. They have held the leadership positions and are tired of the work. If they have programs, they are a rehash of what has been done in the past. They have forgotten the purposes to which they pledged their support upon their induction, or initiation as it was called when they became members. The fallacy of a social club must be eliminated. Someone believed in your potential, this from sustaining pride in the big picture, and with members contributing to the society by accepting leadership positions. Ask yourself these questions about leadership in your chapter or state. Is what we're doing working? Are we able to fill leadership positions easily? If we're having trouble, what is different in other chapters or states? What resources are available for us? These questions will get you started. Where to find our officers or committee members? Such a simple yet complex question. This process begins long before nominations committees begin their search. Your state organization presidents and area directors, liaisons, or representatives have been out on chapter visits throughout the state. They see who are leaders from all chapters. Begin the identification process here. At state meetings or conventions, who steps forward and who shows potential? Have a chat. Discuss how they can assist at the state level. Develop a plan that includes developing state and chapter leaders through training and mentoring. At the chapter level, give everyone an assignment. Get them involved. Get them to know DKG. How do we identify potential leaders? A state that knows their members will be able to tap into the potential leaders. By involving everyone throughout the year in some way, these train your members to be leaders. Make sure you have geographical representation as well as generational representation.
Some chapters and state organizations have a plan in place that prepare leaders to move along a continuum of leadership. Here are a list of pros and cons of succession planning. Take a moment to consider these. Some pros: the person would have experience in the organization, previous training, it can decrease the transition time, they're already established with their members, and they have buy-in, being transparent and confident. Some of the cons is that leaders in succession planning may be stuck in their ways, later have position regret, and it is an extended time commitment.
Are you ready for a leadership position? Accepting a leadership position means one is willing to take on a challenge and ready to learn, not that one already knows all that is necessary to be an effective leader. What makes effective training? We know that good quality training is key to developing good leaders in DKG or any other organization, school, or community group. You have all been involved in training that is good and not so good. Take a few moments to think about the qualities that make training effective. Look over this list of what makes effective training. Your own list may have these descriptors and others equally as important. Open opportunities for leadership and training. Members, not only the state or chapter officers, should have opportunities for leadership training. This can be at all levels of the society. In addition to the state organization president, a chapter can invite any other state officer to conduct a leadership program at their chapter meetings. Make leadership growth and opportunities a priority. Of course, at the international level, a leadership training is mandated by the Constitution for state leaders and is revised and updated each biennium. Delivery models should be explored for each state. In spring of 2020, states and chapters have had the opportunity to have virtual meetings and trainings. This opens up chapters and states to connecting with presentations and presenters from members located anywhere in our DKG society. State size, both geographic and in member size, can dictate the best model of delivery. How about exploring other models? The following are examples from each region that define that state's requirement for leadership training. What's in your state's bylaws or standing rules in regards to training?
The expense of attending a state or international event can be costly. Leadership positions are not only a time commitment, but also a financial one. How does your chapter or state financially support your leadership team?
Each state's bylaws and standing rules describe that state's financial support for your leadership team. What does your state support? Team approach to leadership is a positive and effective strategy. What do you think this statement means? Take a few moments to reflect. Team. Together, everyone achieves more. In a team, the work is spread out. Everyone has a job. There's collaboration. Everyone's ideas are considered, as well as collegiality. Where are you throwing your energy? If you just consider yourself the leader of the group, that is power over. If you consider yourself part of the team, that is power with. Summer of 2019 in Des Moines, many of us heard from Susan Leahy. We were engaged in learning how we affect what happens in our organization. This is but one powerful example. The president cannot and should not do it all.
Which leads us to our next point, this delegation. Stop doing and start managing. We've laid out a 5-step process for doing just that. Number 1, select the right person and delegate the entire task early. This allows for the person to better plan for the task. Ensure that they have the time and skills for what is needed. Number 2, communicate the rationale and benefits. Identify the reason for the task and how it will contribute to the goals of the society. Also point out how the delegated task could be a long-term benefit for the person. Remember, what you might find as a routine task might be very challenging for someone else. Number 3, set clear goals, expectations, and check in. Make sure you're following up with the people that you have delegated with, but give them a little room to run. Number 4, provide support and guidance. Again, check in, offer help when needed. And number 5, evaluate and recognize. Evaluate the results more than the methods the person used. Analyze the cause for performance, and if improvements are needed, and recognize success as soon as possible. If you're not satisfied, do not take the project back immediately. Continue to work with the member and ensure they understand the project to be their responsibility. Give advice on ways to improve. This ensures accountability and dependability. If you are a chapter, contact your state organization for help. And if you are a state president, contact International for the revitalization plan. Go back to thinking about the team report approach. Resources are available and should be utilized. Mentorship. Who should be a mentor? Anyone. A mentor is being a trusted advisor. So how do we do it? Make sure you're approaching each mentee differently. Set expectations together at the very beginning. Offer guidance and help. Don't be judging or too directing. Show a genuine interest in the person. Know when to wait to give advice, and don't ever assume. Ask. Give your mistake examples. Celebrate their achievements. Give more than you ask for, and make sure you're leading by example. What are some strategies that haven't worked for your state or chapter? Take some time to consider. Some of the examples we have to share is segregation by age or place of employment life cycle. Does this help with building mentorship relationships in your chapter? Make sure you're not pushing responsibilities onto new members because we've already had these positions. Make sure you're considering individuals' outside obligations and workload. And if you are going to offer to help, make sure you're following through.
One size does not fit all. So true in our society with its 79 diverse state organizations across 17 countries. Now we come to an activity, your assets. As I read through each statement, give yourself a tally. 1, you are or were an educator. 2, you use email. 3, you belong to a DKG chapter. 4, you have planned a vacation. 5, you have had a mentor or been a mentor to a member or colleague. 6, you have served on a committee related to your educational assignment. 7, you have led a meeting for DKG or any other organization. 8, you have proposed a member for induction into DKG. 9, you belong to another organization, church, community, service. 10, you have attended a professional conference or convention. How many tallies do you have? Should be close to 10 or all 10. Please think of these statements for a moment. By answering yes to these, you show your potential for leadership. Leadership is not just standing in front of a group and leading a meeting. Leaders must show qualities that make up their whole profile. For example, if you planned a vacation, you had many details to take into consideration. You didn't wake up one day and say, "Hey, I want to go on a vacation today." There are parallels to leading a meeting in DKG. Each of you have many assets that make you a leader. This list is just one way of showing you your potential. What is your leadership style? Mindless leaders are stuck in old ways, view only one perspective, are satisfied with routine, and comfortable with predictability. Mindful leaders are open to scrutiny, expect multiple perspectives, and are willing to try new things.
Think about what you've just heard today. Take some time to think about what will work in your state or chapter. How will you implement? Thank you for attending our session today and viewing it online. We hope that you now have the strategies that will help in your chapter and state to deal with the challenges of leadership. You have the ability to make a difference. Don't hesitate to reach out to the International Leadership Development Committee, your state or chapter leaders.